Texas Tech Red Raiders. And from inside the American Airlines Center, alongside Mark Adams, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Mark, Texas Tech made the Elite Eight 1 year ago. This year they start off at 6-0, and one of the biggest reasons is their sensational sophomore, Jarrett Culver.
Jarrett Culver has been culverizing opponents. How? He has a tremendous commitment to his craft. He keeps getting better. There you see his numbers, but it's because of hard work and preparation in the offseason. He's now the go-to guy for an elite program in college basketball.
And there is college basketball buzz in the Bluff City again. The prodigal son, Penny Hardaway, has returned.
An NBA star, an All-American at Memphis, a high school All-American as well in the city of Memphis. Their favorite son is now coaching their Tigers.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty, dighty-do.
I'm having a blast.
Good.
It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
And V Week continues as we welcome you to the Air Force Reserve Basketball Hoop Hall Miami Invitational. Second game of 4 on the day from Miami and a full slate of college hoops in the home of the NBA's Miami Heat. St. John's already wins game 1. They beat Georgia Tech earlier. Now it's time for 3-3 Memphis as they tangle with the 20th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders. And with that, we welcome you inside American Airlines Arena alongside Mark Adams. I'm Rich Hollenberg. Texas Tech made the Elite Eight 1 year ago. This year, Chris Beard has his team off to a 6-0 start, surprising some maybe, but they are led by a sensational sophomore in Jarrett Culver.
Jarrett Culver has been culverizing opponents so far this year. There you see his numbers. They've been tremendous. Why? He has a serious commitment to his craft. He studies film. He spends extra time improving himself and challenging himself to get better in every facet of the game. I love the way this kid goes about his business.
And there is a college basketball buzz back in the Bluff City of Memphis. The prodigal son has returned, Penny Hardaway.
An NBA All-Star, a Memphis All-American for the Tigers, and a highly successful high school coach. The prodigal son has come home to coach his Tigers. There's a buzz on Beale Street.
Texas Tech so stingy so far on defense, allowing just 51 points a game. That's third in the nation. It's going to be tough for this young Tigers team to score as Texas Tech starts off with the ball in their road red uniforms. Your officials this afternoon: Rick Crawford, Byron Jarrett, Rod Dixon. What do we expect from Memphis on defense, Mark?
Memphis will be high risk, high reward. They want to get into 94-foot game, look for pressure. They're not very good in their backside defense. They're still learning how to play together from their help side position.
Ball goes out of bounds off the grad transfer Matt Mooney for Texas Tech. And here's a look at Memphis' starting 5 as they get their first offensive possession. Tyler Harris, a 3-point specialist, leading the way. Nice pass, big to big, off the mark. And Odiase tries to grab it, and it's Memphis basketball.
Watch how Texas Tech plays position defense, both on the ball. You got Moretti, who's shading the ball to the sideline. They want to keep the ball on the sideline. And everybody else in help side and vision position. I love the way they defend, Rich.
And out on the wing, Norrence Odiase called for the first foul. Chris Beard gives him a lot of credit for having this team's quick start off a season when a lot of people didn't think they'd be nearly as good as they were a year ago. Again, it's only 6 games in, but they're one of 16 undefeated teams in the country.
Yeah, number 32 is just so disciplined defensively. Odiase really knows how to play and makes his teammates better, especially on the defensive end.
Thornton off the mark. Tariq Owens grabs the rebound, but they're going to say Owens committed the foul. There's Chris Beard in his 3rd season in Lubbock. Tore his ACL midway through last year in a practice, and that's nothing new for Chris Beard. Injuries are part of the game for him as coaching. He is one of his team.
He broke his hand in the Sun Belt Championship game back in 2016 during halftime. Apparently he might have punched a metal receptacle in some way, shape, or form. And they won that game, by the way, and then went on to beat Purdue when he was at Little Rock.
He is a basketball lifer and somewhat of a basketball nomad, but he's found a home in Lubbock, and he led the Texas Tech Red Raiders to their best mark in tournament and season history. 27 wins last year, going all the way to the Elite 8, only to fall to eventual champion Villanova.
After 6 seasons, look at those winning percentages. Williams, Boeheim, Beard in 3rd of the legends, even ahead of his mentor, Bob Knight. How impressive is that?
He actually tied Bobby Knight for fastest to 50 wins at Texas Tech. Right now, a little uneven play at both ends of the floor in the first couple of minutes.
Really different styles in many ways, and then Memphis will be in an attack mode. They want to get turnovers, they want to full court pressure you, and Texas Tech extremely disciplined.
Here's Tariq Owens, and the grad transfer from St. John's misses his first shot, but grabs the offensive rebound. Loose ball, who wants it? And they say jump ball, and it's going to be possession arrow for Memphis. Well, you say different styles. How does Texas Tech succeed?
Texas Tech is so stingy in their half-court defense. They understand body position and help side as well as anybody in the country. And then offensively, they're also very disciplined. This is a fun team to watch. If you love to watch great defense, they give up a wide-open layup on that possession. Total breakdown there.
So Memphis gets the first 2 of the game. They come in this contest 3-3, but they've lost 2 of their last 3.
You could really spread Memphis out.
Owens. Here's Mooney. Grad transfer to grad transfer. Matt Mooney with a terrific bounce pass to Tariq Owens to open the scoring for Texas Tech.
And Rich, that's what I mean by spreading them out. You get offside cuts, they lose vision at times, wide open dunk.
3 transfers on the floor right now for Chris Beard. And Brandon Francis, one of those who transferred a couple of years ago from Florida, grabs the rebound. Here's Jared Culver, he's the star of the team, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Texas Tech comes in this game, spread the defense, look for backside vision mistakes. There it is right there as Mooney reads it. The transfer from South Dakota really has a high IQ. And Tariq Owens right there, he follows Mooney to the basket. Simple basketball play, but very effective against the extended defense of Memphis.
And now we get our first look at Jarrett Culver, the 6'5" sophomore out of Lubbock, staying in his hometown to go to Texas Tech, one of the most athletic players in the nation. And by the end of the year, he might be a first-team All-Big Ten type selection.
Yeah, he's a guy that there's a reason why NBA scouts are here today, and Jared Culver would be that reason. His brother was a championship high jumper. In fact, has a chance to be an Olympic high jumper. That's how athletic this family is.
I mistakenly said Big Ten. Of course, I meant Big 12. Texas Tech ending up tied for 2nd in the Big 12 last year.
I knew what you meant.
1 for 2 for Culver. It's a 3-2 Texas Tech lead. Harris. And the diminutive one, Tyler Harris, in the painted area, has his first 2 of the game.
He's fun to watch, only 5'9", 150 pounds, fearless offensively. 25 points in his last game against College of Charleston.
That three off the mark, and Thornton clears.
Big body. I love the way he goes and devours rebounds.
And an elbow jumper is good by Jeremiah Martin, who just passed 1,000 points for his career.
Top scorer last year, missed the last 7 or 8 games with injury last season. But Jeremiah Martin, very much a go-to guy, and could be a dominant offensive threat in the American.
College Hoops continues this afternoon on ESPN as number 2 Kansas hosts Stanford at Allen Fieldhouse at 5:30. So if you're a Big 12 fan, you need to be watching this game. And then the Jayhawks coming up a little bit later against the Pac-12 Stanford Cardinal.
Well, and Dedrick Lawson, if I remember correctly, a Memphis kid that also is a star for Kansas, now a double-double guy.
Strong drive, blocked by Isaiah Morris. And we will have a timeout on the floor with 15:54 to go. Memphis with an early 6-3 lead over the 20th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Air Force Reserve. College tuition assistance is available with the Air Force Reserve. City, welcome what's next. And Zales, 'tis the season to make an unmistakable statement. Find your style at Zales.
This is the American Conference on ESPN, part of the Hoop Hall Invitational from downtown Miami inside the American Airlines Arena. Rich Hollenberg, Mark Adams, and the Americans' Memphis Tigers are on top early, 6-3 over the 20th ranked Red Raiders coming in the preseason. Everybody thought Memphis would be the 4th best team in this conference. It's a conference you cover, Mark. What do you say?
Well, Kevon Davenport certainly returning with Jeremiah Martin. That's a good core of seasoned veterans, along with a very talented young core of basketball players that have come to Memphis and will come next year as well with the #1 recruit in the country, and James Wiseman.
What a huge get for Penny Hardaway. Wiseman staying home. DJ Jeffries coming in as well. That is a 1-2 punch that could top anybody in the country. That's next year.
Yep.
This year, they have a lot of growing to do.
But the future is neon bright for the Memphis program.
Martin? Yes.
He's fearless. He is
Tyler
just
Harris.
fearless. So much fun to watch. Now, you live and die with some shot selection with him on occasion, but man, when he's got it going, a ton of fun to watch.
He can be a blur, even in the half court. Here's Odiase. Davide Moretti, the Italian sophomore. Mooney. And the shot's not falling in the early going for Chris Beard's Red Raiders.
And Memphis is competing at a very high level. Whenever I'm coaching, I always tell the guys on my teams that let's deliver the first blow. Let's go out and punch him right one time, not literally, just figuratively. And right now, Memphis has done that. They're coming out with a pretty good roundhouse early in this game. A lot of energy.
Here's Culver. A little step back from Jared Culver, bounces off the rim, and Maurice has another rebound.
A lot of fadeaway J's from Texas Tech early in this game.
And that is not their game.
No. Watch Jeremiah Martin. He's got a really special offensive repertoire.
Nice feed, and another bucket. That time Kareem Bruton gets in close range and converts. An 8-0 Memphis run.
So what do you do in the NBA? You take advantage of mismatches. Penny Hardaway saw a mismatch and Jeremiah Martin exposed it.
Culver had it blocked out of bounds.
Jeremiah Martin felt like, okay, I've got a quickness advantage. I'm going to take it in the paint and make my teammates better.
Jeremiah Martin, a senior out of Mitchell High School in Memphis. No surprise, Penny Hardaway recruiting close to home. There are 6 Memphis natives on this Tigers roster. Here's Martin, left-handed three, no. Maurice grabs another rebound.
Tyler Harris, for a freshman, has a lot of leadership qualities. He takes control of this offense.
Owens grabs the rebound for the Red Raiders. And there's a three by the freshman Kyler Edwards, who's grown up very quickly for Chris Beard.
Well, he's had to because of the talented group is no longer with Texas Tech. Freshmen have to stand up, and he did right there.
Strong take by Martin, and he gets fouled and will go to the line and shoot 2. Jeremiah Martin led this team in points, 3-pointers, assists, and steals, despite the fact that he missed 7 games last year, ended up second in the American Conference in scoring.
You know what really helped him? Because I had an upfront seat all last year at Memphis several times. And the thing that they did with him a year ago under Tubby Smith, they converted him to more of a point guard, not as much of a scoring off-guard kind of guy. I think it really helped his basketball growth, that he had to make more decisions and not just be a scorer. I think Penny Hardaway right now using him at the off-guard spot, which is more comfortable for him, but still effective in leading the offense as well.
Nice touch from the free throw line. He's only shooting 55% from the line on the season, but it didn't look like that just now. 2 for 2, and it extends the Memphis lead to 12-6.
And Rich, now the other freshman point guard, Alex Lomax, comes in to give Tyler Harris a blow. So when you have 2 point guards that are freshmen playing back-to-back, you need a season veteran. Jeremiah Martin is that guy.
Speaking of freshmen, that's Edwards, 0 in red with the ball, and a foul called away from the ball on Memphis. Kyler Edwards, a freshman out of Arlington, Texas, by way of Findlay Prep in Las Vegas, a 4-star top 100 recruit for Chris Beard, who usually makes his hay by rounding out his roster with transfers. He's done that, but he's got a good one in Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards, one of those all-purpose guys.
Bounce pass inside, and Davenport has a chance at a 3-point play. Big-to-big passing,
yeah,
Mark,
really
effective
good
for the Tigers.
Really good. Isaiah Maurice puts the ball on the floor, going left, just drops it right down inside to Davenport, who finishes. Really athletic finisher.
Kevin Davenport, despite all the talent on this Memphis roster, was probably the name we heard most when Chris Beard was giving the scouting report to his team about Memphis.
Especially his offensive rebounding ability. They've got to keep him off the glass. He manufactures points for this Memphis Tiger offense.
8 minutes gone by. It's been a Memphis Tigers game so far as Moretti gets his first 2 of the game.
He's slippery, and he just finds ways to score. Really smart basketball player.
That ball through the hands of Maurice and out of bounds. It's going to be Texas Tech basketball when we return. 11:42 to go. Memphis by 5 over the 20th ranked Red Raiders from Texas Tech. Well, Penny Hardaway trying to bring the swag back to Memphis basketball on the hardwood. He was the number 3 pick overall in the 1993 draft, but he was also a 3-time high school state championship head coach at East High School in Memphis before taking the job at University of Memphis.
You know, his ladder to the Memphis head coaching job was unusual, but when you think about the level of player that he was, the instinctual player that he was, of an understanding of the game, along with his coaching background, very successful at the high school level, AAU level. And he's earned his way to this position. And of course, recruiting-wise, it's been a whole different deal in Memphis since he got there.
And Penny was smart. One thing he didn't do was win an NBA championship, so he brought a couple of rings to his bench.
Exactly right.
And Mike Miller's one of his top assistants, who not only won 2 NBA championships, but he won 2 NBA championships with the Miami Heat franchise.
Yeah,
he's had some sex in this building.
And Sam Mitchell as well was NBA Coach of the Year with the Raptors in 2007. It's a pretty good staff. I don't usually run in those circles, by the way.
There's Alex Lomax driving in, and the foul's called on Texas Tech.
Early on, I really like the fact that Memphis has been in just attack mode every single possession. They're rocking Texas Tech back on their heels defensively.
And immediately, a turnover by Memphis as Kareem Bruton stepped on the sideline. Texas Tech off to a 6-0 start. Their biggest wins coming in Kansas City, so neutral site. Wins against USC and Nebraska, and at the beginning of the season, most people would have said, Mark, that they were underdogs in those 2 games. They won them both. That's a big reason why they're number 2 on the new net rankings that have come out.
And Memphis at 3-3, this is, if you speak of the net, this is a big opportunity for the American to earn some net points, if you will.
Here's Mooney in the middle. In trouble and got bailed out with a Memphis foul.
Now, Rich, you brought up the net, and there was a lot of fan reactions.
Yeah.
Because Ohio State was the #1 team.
It's taking over for the RPI this year as a measurable for the committee.
And think of it as artificial intelligence. You know, if you have a Google Home, for example, it takes some time for it to get to know you, right? It's the same way with the net. As time goes along and better information is fed into the system, which is based on results and predictive information, it's going to come out with a more reasonable list of the better teams in the country. So I thought there was a total overreaction to that first, and we could blame the marketing people at the NCAA for letting it go early, but overall, take some time, take a deep breath, let it all work itself out.
Texas Tech ranked 20th in the country, ranked 2nd in the country in terms of that net, in large part due to those neutral site wins against major conference schools, Nebraska and USC. Conversely, you have Memphis, who's 3-3 on the season, and 4 of their 6 games have been away from FedEx Forum. So good scheduling early on by Penny Hardaway.
Well, they won against Yale in a tremendous overtime thriller in front of a bunch of crazy Memphis fans. I mean, that place looked like a madhouse that night.
Here's Moretti. Wide open look on Digo. And we're going the other way. The foul's going to go on Texas Tech as Memphis continues to hang on. A 4-point lead, 10:27 to go.
Texas Tech typically frustrates opponents with their stingy defensive positioning and effort. Penny Hardaway right now, there is no frustration on the Memphis side of it. They are playing free and clear right now. This team's really improved, Rich.
Here's Martin, 3-pointer touches nothing. And they're going to call it kicked ball, so it'll stay Memphis basketball with 18 on the shot clock.
I've watched Memphis almost every game this season. And early on, they looked like they had a couple freshmen in the lineup. Defensively, they really struggled. I mean, really struggled. But they're improving. Each time out, they're getting a little bit better. They're playing more cohesive offensively as well.
10 on the shot clock. That one's short, and Ondigo clears for Texas Tech, but it's stolen away by Lomax. Spin move, Martin, back to Lomax. And he can't convert.
I don't know why Lomax didn't shoot it initially. Had a wide open 12-foot jump shot off the glass. He had Jeremiah Martin on the backside glass.
Culver lobs it, Owens finishes. Nice 2-man game from Culver to Owens. And it's a 2-point game with Memphis in the lead by 2.
Here's where Memphis will also be challenged with Harris and Lomax in the game. Got 2 short guards.
Number 2 to number 1, and number 1 nails a 3.
Works out okay if you get dribble penetration.
That's an early 7 for Tyler Harris, the freshman out of Cordova High School in Memphis.
But on this end, here's where it's a problem, just because of the size of the guards. They can shoot over.
Culver, and an offensive foul. We're going the other way. Jared Culver's been frustrated in the opening moments against this Memphis team.
Yeah, Memphis has really improved defensively. They're starting to understand what it means to play together and be connected defensively, and that takes time, especially with a new coach, new players. Yep, little push off right there.
And now 6 turnovers for Texas Tech. Mark, they only average 10.5 a game coming in.
This is a very atypical performance early by Texas Tech.
Now Memphis gives it right back. 5 turnovers for the Tigers.
Chris Beard just called 5 out. Look for their motion. Look for them to spread this defense now. See how the post is clear? All 5 red jerseys on the perimeter looking to spread them and then drive them.
Ready? Turns it over. 7 Texas Tech turnovers. Martin blocked by Culver at the other end. His brother's a good high jumper. He could get up too.
That was an impressive block. Jeremiah Martin, I mean, he's a guy that can change his shot and dipsy-do, and right there, Culver just stayed focused on the ball. Said, no, I don't think so, not right now with his left hand.
And that's the second time this game that one of the Memphis Tigers has stepped on the sideline for a turnover.
Well, credit Texas Tech for being in a stance, forcing that pass out just 1 foot to the outside. All of a sudden, it's a turnover.
And now Jared Culver will take a seat on the bench, get a blow with 8:06 to go. And Kyler Edwards, the freshman point guard, 0 in red with the ball, checks in.
So if I'm Texas Tech, I'm going to attack the small guards. With Harris and Lomax, I'm going to expose them down the block, invert. I'm going to find ways to attack those guys.
There's a lob to Owens. Tariq Owens with an early 6.
St. John's transfer. St. John's pretty good in the first game. Shamori Pons, another 30-point game in that win against Georgia Tech.
A 3 lined up, too strong. Mooney, the weak side rebound. Matt Mooney calls his own number. Too strong, and the tip by Deshaun Corprew, a JUCO transfer, redshirt sophomore out of Norfolk, Virginia. His first 2.
Length and strength going to the offensive glass now for Texas Tech.
Parks didn't even have to jump for that one. Big Mike Parks with his second bucket of the afternoon.
Speaking of strength, some big guys going at it here.
He's a lumberjack in the paint. Memphis up 3, under 7 to go in the first half. Rebound to Lomax. Foul called, it's gonna go on Texas Tech. And we have a timeout on the floor. Some impressive youngsters for the Memphis Tigers, but maybe the most impressive will come next year. We'll talk top recruit in high school with Paul Biancardi next. Paul, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, that is so loud.
Man, that is loud. Hi, Paul.
That is ridiculously loud. Can you adjust that in the truck?
Thank you. I'll tell you, that Biancardi voice is booming, Rich.
Yeah, it's the voice
You know?
of God. All right, so
Hey,
just,
Mark,
hey,
you're
Paul,
good.
obviously it's just tell us about James Wiseman.
Okay, hey, one thing, Rich.
All right, now I
No,
can't
I
hear
can't
him.
hear him at all. Okay.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah.
You may want to ask me one thing about it. It's really significant because in the ESPN era, there's only been 3 top 5 prospects.
I can't hear him.
Okay.
Thank you.
Talk to me, Paulie.
Can you hear me now, Rich?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a significant commitment for a lot of reasons, but in the ESPN era, only 3 top 5 prospects have ever went to a non-power conference school.
There you go. Okay, hey, I'll just tee you up on Wiseman. You go wherever you want to go.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
You look very handsome, by the way, Paul.
He was always a handsome guy.
Oh, you guys are killing it now.
Great.
And they also have DJ Jeffries coming in,
Right.
another
Yeah.
5-star.
Paul, you can go there if you want. I'll ask you if you don't mention it.
Yeah, sure. You
Yep.
can go to that
Yeah,
after.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Got it.
Gotcha. Man, you talk about moving the needle in Memphis basketball. Penny Hardaway returns this year to coach the Memphis Tigers, and now he's going to get to coach the #1 high school player in America, James Wiseman, staying home and playing for his hometown Memphis Tigers. With more on that, we bring in ESPN's National Recruiting Director, Paul Biancardi. Give us the scoop on Wiseman, Paul.
Well, he's a game changer. And all you need to know is this. In the ESPN 100, the era, it's been since 2007, there's only been 3 top 5 picks who have not went to a major conference. Derrick Rose, Tyreek Evans, and James Wiseman. They all went to Memphis. This is significant for the Memphis program and for the city of Memphis.
Paul, tell us about DJ Jeffries, because he was also one of the top 30 guys ranked with your professional staff. What impact will he make for the Memphis Tigers?
Well, he brings a big impact. One-time Kentucky commit mark. He brings athleticism, some skill, big body, elite athlete, but Wiseman is the prize of the class because he becomes a game changer in terms of his defensive ability. Blocking shots, rebounding, and running the floor. James Wiseman is second to none in the class, and he has a really nice developing jump hook that's going to be worth a lot of money someday in the paint. You put Jeffries and Wiseman together, that is a high major front court.
Paul, you've been around recruiting forever, both with ESPN and at the coaching level. Why is Penny Hardaway so successful recruiting right now?
Mark, it's because he has the trust of the players. Look, James Wiseman could have went to any program in the country, could have played for any coach in America. He picked Penny Hardaway because he trusted Penny Hardaway the most. And in recruiting, everybody talks about, well, he fits there, he fits over here. Fit is important, but there's nothing more important than trust, and Penny Hardaway has the trust of today's player.
Well, Paul Biancardi's crew ranked James Wiseman #1. He's going to Penny Hardaway's Memphis Tigers next year. Paul, thank you for the time. We appreciate it, buddy.
All right, Rich, Mark, thank you.
And there's a timeout on the floor here in the American Airlines Arena with Memphis up 3, 22-19. And Tariq Owens, the graduate transfer center for Chris Beard's Red Raiders, went down hard and is getting attended to at the end of the Red Raiders bench right now.
You know, Rich, fascinating take by Paul Biancardi. Listen, Paul was an elite recruiter in his own right, by the way, and now heads up the recruiting services at ESPN. But he brought up the word trust. And we saw that in our pregame visit with Penny. What a trustworthy person he is. He's earned that trust in that community in so many ways, deeper than just coaching, but helping out his best friend, Desmond Merriweather, who had colon cancer, and how he worked with 8th graders, freshman kids, high school kids to help them get better and grow as young men. This program's in great hands right now.
Yeah, a superstar like Penny Hardaway with millions of dollars in the bank did not need to coach high school basketball, but he did because of his best friend, as you mentioned, and now that has led him to the point where he is at now, where he's coaching his alma mater at a Division I basketball program.
Yeah, Desmond Merriweather, a community coach in Memphis, changed the path of Memphis basketball. He predicted not only that Penny Hardaway would win 3 state high school championships, but would be the head coach at Memphis someday. He predicted it before he died of colon cancer.
All of that has come true, and now Penny Hardaway trying to rebuild this Memphis program to the power that it once was. There's been some great coaches that have come through there. Larry Flinch, obviously Josh Pastner was successful in his time. John Calipari took him all the way to the national title game. And even Tubby Smith, a Hall of Famer in his own right.
Absolutely.
But Penny Hardaway is a different breed because he's from that area. And I guess the biggest question going forward, Mark, is the talent pool in the Memphis, Tennessee area good enough to make Memphis a major power on the national stage?
Yes, it always has been. Memphis has always been a target for high major programs to come in and raid that talent from Memphis. Well, it looks like that talent's going to be staying home now. That's good news for Memphis Tiger fans. It's a great high school basketball city.
Saved out of bounds. And bodies flying all over the place. It's been a physical contest in the first part of the first half. 22-19 low-scoring game. The Memphis Tigers leading 20th ranked Texas Tech right now. And the big news for Texas Tech is that Tariq Owens was relegated to the bench with what looked like some sort of a leg injury. He hasn't returned since, as Deshaun Corprew goes to the line to shoot 2.
Tariq Owens, the best shot blocker on this basketball team.
And this is what happened moments ago that forced Owens to the sideline.
Going up to block a shot. Oh, boy, does he get cleared out of there.
And he landed on one leg, his right leg. And when you have legs as long as Tariq Owens, that could spell trouble.
They're lacing him back up right now, though. I can see him tying his shoes on the bench.
That's a good sign.
It's a really good sign. He's standing up, putting weight on everything. He'll be back.
Well, Memphis with the basketball. They've missed 6 of their last 7 field goal attempts as Texas Tech has been chopping wood and getting back in this game.
That's pretty good. I like that analogy. Chopping wood, I get it.
There's a big 3 by Tyler Harris, his 2nd of the afternoon, and he leads all scorers with 10.
Good motion offense here. If it looks like Bob Knight, there's a reason.
And there's a foul on the floor away from the ball. As you mentioned, Bob Knight, a longtime assistant at Texas Tech for Bob Knight was Chris Beard, who spent 10 years as an assistant on the bench, first for Bob Knight and then for his son, Pat.
So when I watch Texas Tech, I look for Bob Knight-like things. The way Texas Tech sets screens, they lock left hand over right wrist. They extend their arms a little bit so they don't flare their elbows to get no legal screen. Little techniques like that I look for that Chris Beard has begged, borrowed, and stole from some of the best in the business, including Bob Knight.
And they wave off the free throw, even though it was made by Jarrett Culver, because Kyler Edwards entered the lane too quickly, and good sign for the Red Raiders. Tariq Owens, 11 in red, checking back into the game. Culver to the bench. 4:05 to go in the first half. The 20th ranked Red Raiders from Texas Tech down 5 to Memphis, and the Tigers have the ball. Here's Martin, straight line drive, blocked by Owens. Impact immediate.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
Oh, and a 3 again from Tyler Harris.
That little dude is fearless. I love the chip on his shoulder and the way he plays this game.
He averages 3+ threes a game. He already has 3 in the first half. Here's Moretti, air ball. And here comes Memphis.
Harris wants it, give it to him.
You're gonna see a heat check here?
A lot worse than the other
He
game.
thought about it.
But they're like erratic, they're just bumping into each other. Yeah, dude, this court is so fucking silk.
3 from Martin's off the mark. He's frustrated. It's going to be Texas Tech basketball. We're at our under 4 media timeout. Memphis has built their lead over the 20th ranked Red Raiders to 8.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Walt Disney World Resort.
Memphis leads 28-20, their largest lead of the game, and the smallest player on the floor having the biggest impact, Mark.
Boy, does he play big, though. He's got an energy about his game, and also, in the most positive way, a cockiness about his game that I love in a lead guard. This guy is not afraid to take and make big shots. And he just bounces right into the next possession.
He led the city of Memphis in scoring as a high school senior last year, over 30 a game, to go along with 6 assists per game.
He bounces around like Tigger. He just keeps bringing energy to this basketball team.
Texas Tech struggling from the field, especially from beyond the arc. 1 for 6 for the Red Raiders, who came in shooting 41% from beyond the arc on the season.
Rich, I always look for little things as to what the culture is of a program. And of course, we talked about the culture of Chris Beard, but with Penny Hardaway's bunch, Isaiah Maurice just went down on the floor for a loose ball. Guess who the first guy was that sprinted over to pick him up? Tyler Harris. I mean, sprinted. Didn't walk over, didn't jog over, sprinted to help his big guy up. That's leadership. And as a freshman, already doing those kinds of little things to show your teammates, I care. You can trust me, right? That's what Paul Biancardi talked about. That's part of the role of a point guard as well.
Maurice cans both free throws, the 6'10 junior out of Durham, North Carolina by way of junior college. That extends the Memphis lead to 10. Here's Francis, yes. Brandon Francis, who's coming off the bench to start the season, although Chris Beard said he's still one of our best 5 players.
I'd like to see more off-ball cuts from Texas Tech, as Texas Tech now drops into a 2-3 zone.
Why are they going 2-3, Mark?
They've had a difficult time taking away dribble penetration from guys like Jeremiah Martin and Tyler Harris. They want him to prove he can shoot a shot over a bigger defender.
Here's Maurice, off the mark. Tech comes away with it. Moretti for 3. Way off the mark, and Davide Moretti has really struggled from the field. Just 2 points so far, came in averaging 11 a game.
Well, credit Memphis defense again, as Antoine Jones was right in his face.
And with that Moretti miss, 1 for 7 from 3-point range for Texas Tech.
Watch how Tech matches up after Tyler Harris gives the ball up. They were literally defending him almost like a box and one the last possession.
2-pointer this time, and a foul called. That's going to go on Texas Tech. Chris Beard in disbelief, but it's more Memphis free throws with 2:02 to go in the half.
It's been a frustrating first half for Texas Tech, and credit Memphis. They brought energy, execution defensively, and they've been in attack mode the entire first half. That's how Memphis needs to play.
Memphis making the most of their free throw opportunities, now 8 for 8 so far in the game. Isaiah Maurice winning a JUCO national championship a year ago out of South Plains, Texas. And wouldn't you know it, one of the teammates on that championship team is on the other sideline right now. Deshaun Corprew, who's on Texas Tech's roster, was part of that championship team as well.
Both these coaches have done a wonderful job of mixing and matching different parts and pieces, freshmen, transfers, returnees, into their lineup.
Nice look by Mooney inside, and Corprew, who we just mentioned, will go to the line and shoot too.
Boy, did you set that up nicely.
I think the players cooperate more than me setting it up. So here's Deshaun Corprew already with 3 points on the game. We'll go to the line and shoot a couple more.
Very coachable guy, good strong body. Came out of South Plains College, which always has a tremendous junior college program.
Corprew was on the all-tournament team when he took that team to the title last year. One for 2 from the line for Corprew, and that makes it a single-digit lead for Memphis, 32-23. $1:45 to go in the first half.
A little bit of extended pressure. Memphis going to try to make a pay, and they do.
Nice lob, and Maurice at the other end.
And Chris Beard just throws his drink down to the ground. They go soft 2-2-1 press and get burned on.
And a traveling violation called on Jared Culver. Well, South Plains, Texas is in the house tonight. Deshaun Corprew for Texas Tech and Isaiah Maurice for Memphis.
Now this was a soft press that Memphis just attacked and laid it up. There's the press again. They're going to shoot it from deep.
And the foul's going to be called on Maurice for going over the top. Well, tomorrow at 4 Eastern on ESPN, we'll have #1 Notre Dame taking on #2 UConn in the Women's Jimmy V Classic from South Bend. These two teams last tangled in the Final Four last year, and it resulted in a buzzer beater that catapulted Notre Dame to their national championship.
Well, a lot of really good returning players coming back for Notre Dame. That's going to be a heck of a matchup of a young UConn team against a really good Notre Dame team. That semifinal matchup was as good as it gets last year.
Francis with the free throw. And he'll have another one here with 1:22 to go, trying to make it a single-digit deficit for the Red Raiders. They're undefeated, 6-0, ranked 20th in the country, one of just 16 undefeated teams remaining on this first Saturday in December. But they're getting their hands full here in Miami from a young, talented, energetic Memphis squad.
Well, we saw St. John's get behind against Georgia Tech in the first game, and then Shamori Pons led St. John's back to the victory late in that game. It was a great game.
37 for Shamori Pons in game 1 of this Hoop Ball Invitational.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I really love that kid.
10 on the shot clock for the Tigers. Now 5 to shoot. Lomax. Baseline jumper, good. Sweet stroke by Kareem Bruton.
That's pretty good defense and a really tough shot to make. Late shot clock. Memphis good enough to make it.
See if Texas Tech tries to go 2 for 1 here. They're going to be patient on offense. Culver had it knocked out of his hands and out of bounds. It'll stay Texas Tech basketball.
Or late shot clock right here is Bruton. And look where he's posted up, 15 feet away with a fade away from the baseline. It's pretty good. Memphis playing well here in Miami.
Chris Beard calling a use it or lose it timeout with 34 seconds left in the first half, and he was livid in his huddle. Why is he so mad, Mark?
He should be mad. Crappy defensive execution. Offensively, has not done a good job of sharing the basketball, running their offense with cuts that matter. They're just waltzing through their cuts right now. He should be mad. I'd be mad too if I were Chris Beard.
Well, that's a little bit of a cure for what ails you. Get the ball to Jared Culver, and he knocks down a jump shot. And Beard is still livid with his team. He's looking at Davide Moretti, his point guard, who he relies on a lot because this team is still putting the pieces together with the transfers that came in. You think of Keenan Evans, who left, Zaire Smith, who went to the NBA. And he's relying a lot on the sophomore out of Italy. And obviously, Chris Beard is a little upset right now with his team down by 8.
And sometimes your team needs a truth pill, and you better swallow it when you play for Chris Beard.
Well, that timeout was called by Penny Hardaway, so both teams calling timeouts here late in the first half. Tonight, it's the Dr. Pepper ACC Championship game as Pitt takes on number 2 Clemson from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. A spot in the college football playoff is on the line for Dabo Swinney and the Tigers. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Clemson's got a pretty good basketball team this year as well. Last shot time with the shot clock off for the Memphis Tigers. They've led throughout this first half, 36-28.
Watch for Jeremiah Martin, number 3. Keep it on Tyler Harris in the far corner.
Here's Bruton, no. The follow, no, and a whistle blows. It's going to be a foul on Texas Tech that will send Memphis to the line with 3.3 seconds left in the first half.
Boy, Chris Beard is just beside himself.
Rainier Thornton, 5 for 9 on the season from the free throw line. Make it 5 for 10. 6'6" senior out of Marietta, Georgia. That's Memphis's first miss from the free throw line this afternoon. And he goes 1 for 2. 3 seconds left. Texas Tech looking for a quick bucket before halftime. Culver, it's good if it goes, not this time. And Memphis has led throughout in the first half. They take a 37-20. And V Week continues from Miami as we welcome you back to Game 2 of the Air Force Reserve Basketball Hoop Hall Miami Invitational, where the Memphis Tigers lead the 20th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders 37-28. And from inside American Airlines Arena in downtown Miami, alongside Mark Adams, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Mark, the 20th ranked Red Raiders came in with a vaunted defense and an efficient offense, and they've really been taken out of their game by Memphis.
Well, and give credit to Memphis and their energy and to Tyler Harris. The 5'9" diminutive point guard has really owned the Texas Tech defense, and they've given him space to score when he gets into gaps. Not as good at closeouts on the ball, catches the ball right there. He's wide open from 3. And this is a guy that can shoot the basketball, again, late on the closeouts. So why is Chris Beard so upset with the Red Raiders? Second chance points. It's real simple. The Red Raiders are not giving the effort, and Memphis is. I mean, there's a point guard with a second chance point. They're just beating them up physically and going, getting the basketball and making plays. If I was Chris Beard, I'd be upset as well.
Yeah, that was Chris Beard moments before halftime, exhorting his team. We fully expect to see a much more engaged and connected Texas Tech team to start the second half. They start in their red uniforms with the basketball.
I think you're going to see better screening, better cutting offensively. Let's look at the first possession. So far, 3 screens and then a pass to the inside shoulder.
Brandon Francis starting the second half, getting the first shot of the second half, but it's off the mark. And Alex Lomax clears. And an offensive foul called on Lomax. Interesting that Alex Lomax, you talk about guards rebounding, right? Josh Pastner from Georgia Tech loves guards rebounding. Alex Lomax is all of 5'10". He averages over 5 rebounds a game.
It's a really good nose for the ball, and we saw Tyler Harris get an offensive rebound in the first half as well. When you have guards, you mentioned Josh Pastner likes to, his guards get 37% of the defensive rebounds, right? Well, this is a team that actually can do it with miniature guards. I mean, Munchkin kind of guys at 5'9", 5'10".
The 5'9" you speak of, Tyler Harris, leading this game in scoring. He has 13 in the first half, including 3 3-pointers. Some wetness on the floor underneath the basket, so we have a stoppage of play with 19:33 to go.
It'll be interesting to see now as Texas Tech comes back at. So Matt Mooney, the transfer from South Dakota, sets the tone for Texas Tech, takes a charge on the very first defensive possession. That's Chris Beard basketball. Now let's see if offensively they can be equally physically tough by setting tough screens, quick cuts, cut V's, not C's. They've rounded a lot of stuff off in the first half. Cut harder.
Chris Beard doesn't want his offense to settle for shots. That means get him close to the basket. And that's going to be another Memphis foul as Norense Odiasi fighting for position on the block.
And Penny Hardaway has had Memphis not settling for shots. They've been in attack mode, especially even to open this game. They delivered the first blow.
Culver, aggressive, will go to the line.
Seeing a different deal now. It's a different start. It's a more physical start for Texas Tech.
Second foul on Jeremiah Martin as Jared Culver will go to the line and shoot 2. And Chris Beard must be a little more satisfied in the first minute of play here in the second half than what he saw in the first 20 minutes. 18.8 points a game for Jared Culver. He also leads the team in assists with over 4 a game.
Well, only a sophomore talent, the length. I mean, he looks like a guy that with development over the next couple of years, could be a next level player.
Here's Harris. He's swinging around to Lomax, number 2 in gray. 10 on the shot clock. And the foul's going to go on Brandon Francis, who wanted an offensive foul on Lomax, but instead, it's going to stay Memphis basketball. And Odiasi, the big man for Texas Tech, loading it up.
Well, that was a big, nasty on-ball screen on Matt Mooney, and he paid a price as well. Memphis has learned how to be more physical since the beginning of the season.
Alex Lomax at the line, 12 for 14 overall this season from the stripe. He's made his first and only 2 attempts this afternoon. And now he's 2 for 3. And I don't believe in a broadcaster jinx, Mark.
I believe in a Wichita jinx, though. He signed with Wichita and probably would have been their lead point guard for Greg Marshall.
Yeah.
But when Penny Hardaway, his high school coach, got the job at Memphis, Greg Marshall released him from a scholarship, and now he's playing for Penny Hardaway. He'd make a big difference at Wichita State right now.
He's had Penny Hardaway in his ear since 5th grade.
Yeah.
He was playing pickup ball with Penny Hardaway, munchkin ball.
Yeah, you understand why. I mean, it was a great move for the young man, and Greg Marshall showed a lot of class with the immediate release as well.
Big block inside on Culver. And here comes Memphis. They love the transition game, but for the 3rd time today, a Memphis player caught with his foot on the sideline.
How about Mike Parks, though? The physical presence that he's bringing in the paint for Penny Hardaway, defensively, offensively setting screens, then defensively with the rejection.
Well, if there's one thing Texas Tech did in the first half and is doing now that Chris Beard wanted them to do coming into the game, slow down transition. They've been able to accomplish that.
And they've attacked the rim as well. Now, they had a block shot that last time, but you got to keep going at it. You got to be the aggressor. So you can't beat Memphis defense off a one-pass and dribble drive. You've got to extend them. You've got to move them from help side to ball side and then take advantage of defensive mistakes.
That's 11 turnovers for Chris Beard's club. That is over their 6-game season average so far. Mooney picks it off. And great hands by Tyler Harris to steal it. Martin at the other end converts.
What a play by Tyler Harris. Never gave up on the play.
Jeremiah Martin with 6 points, and the lead is back to 11. Francis lines it up. Short, and Tariq Owens, who's checked in, got the offensive board. Here's Culver underneath.
Finally an easy one. There haven't been many. Credit the Memphis defense, but downright stingy.
8 for Culver, who had 26 against Nebraska. And Mooney with another steal. That's back-to-back possessions where Matt Mooney has showed up on the defensive end.
Look at this.
And the same result, he got his pocket picked at the other end.
Boy, Lomax and Tyler Harris, they just bring a certain degree of quickness and anticipation, a feel for how to play point guard when they're both on the floor together.
Here's Parks down the center of the lane.
Flexing some muscle.
Mike Parks averages 7.6 a game. He's got 6 in this one. And the Tigers showing some toughness. Here's Mooney. Off the mark.
Settling. It's exactly what Chris Beard warned his team about. Don't settle for jump shots, especially early in a possession.
Martin bounce pass. Underneath. And another easy 2 for the Memphis Tigers. Largest lead of the game with Rainier Thornton's first bucket of the contest. Here's Culver. Got it to go. That's about the only thing that's working so far for this Red Raiders offense.
Yeah, give it to Culver and let him be a pro. It's pretty good.
10 for Culver, but only 23 for the rest of this Red Raiders team. They're down 11. Seven on the shot clock. Tough step back from the freshman Lomax.
Let him make a play.
Culver lost it. More quick hands, this time from Martin. And a foul's going to go on number 11, Tariq Owens.
Memphis. The key for the Memphis Tigers was deliver body blows. That is a body blow from Mike Parks.
Memphis up by 11 over 20th ranked Texas Tech, due in large part to a couple of the smallest players in the game. Alex Lomax, Tyler Harris, diminutive in size, but coming up big on the defensive end.
Harris bluffing recovers and then comes back and gets the steal. He stays with the play after the turnover, and that leads to the basket for Jeremiah Martin on the other end. And then his cohort in crime, Alex Lomax, stays with the play on Matt Mooney, picks it off, which leads to a dunk for Mike Parks. And now Kevon Davenport comes out of the timeout and scores as well. The Mighty Mites of Memphis are really making a difference. These two little guards can flat play.
Off the timeout, Davenport with the and one opportunity. And the lead is up to 13 for Memphis. Davenport misses Culver with the rebound. And even then, poked away by Davenport. Quick hands from the Memphis Tigers.
Yeah, the quickness for Memphis has just been obvious in this game.
Francis trying to get on track, and he does. First three of the game for Brandon Francis.
Now Alex Lomax out of the game, but Rich, what's interesting with Penny Hardaway, he's not afraid to have those two guys out on the floor at the same time. I see why.
And a 3-second violation called on Memphis. Well, it's heady times for Memphis Athletics on the campus of the University of Memphis. Not only is Penny Hardaway the head coach, they're beating the 20th ranked team by 10 right now, but over in Orlando in the American Championship football game, the Memphis Tigers football team, head coach Mike Norvell and company, up 2 touchdowns on the undefeated Knights of UCF.
Of course, UCF had that injury to their quarterback. I'm sure that affects their offense dramatically. Not to make excuses for UCF. Still celebrate, Memphis.
Sure.
It's okay. You play with who you got, right?
Moretti. He was the target of much of head coach Chris Beard's ire in the first half, and he's aggressive to the hole. And Davide Moretti will go to the line and shoot 2.
They got him on the floor. Got him off the dribble.
Check that, it was a non-shooting foul, so it's Red Raiders basketball, and it's immediately picked off by Davenport. And the foul's gonna go on Francis.
Well, you float a pass against these athletic guys, it turns into a steal immediately. Chris Beard can't believe what he's watching right now. This is just a terrible inbounds pass. It's short for one thing. It stays up in the air for 5 seconds, and Davenport, obviously a good enough athlete to go get it. There's going to be a lot of learning opportunity for Texas Tech from this video, from this game. And the good news is for Texas Tech, they can still come back and win this thing. Only down 10 right now.
Down 10. Jeremiah Martin checking back in. 6 points on the game. Davenport off the mark on his last 3 free throws. Here's the freshman Kyler Edwards. Gives it up to the senior Francis. They're taking it strong to the hole, but they're coming up empty more often than not.
Boy, really good defensive transition from Texas Tech there.
Good hands by Culver. He chases it down in the corner.
It's an important possession right here. Got to get a score.
Nice
there it
pass.
is.
Culver can't convert. Edwards gets it. Culver again. Lost it. Out of bounds. It stays Texas Tech basketball. Even the things that look like they should be easy are apparently very difficult.
Well, let's credit the motor of Penny Hardaway's basketball team. They have been revved up this entire game. And they're constantly recovering. They're helping each other. They're challenging shots. They're sprinting the floor.
Mooney all alone, and Matt Mooney coming up a little bit gimpy after that.
2 guys took dives on that play. I've seen one. I don't think I've seen back-to-back dives, and they were dives. Texas Tech goes 2-3 zone here to slow down Memphis.
8-point game coming up on 13 minutes to go. We had a close one in game 1 from the Hoop Hall Invitational. St. John's took down Georgia Tech to remain undefeated. Texas Tech trying to do the same and improve to 7-0. But they have their hands full with a gritty, gutty Memphis Tigers basketball team. And that's the 3rd foul on Brandon Francis.
They bought the head fake, and Bruton was more than happy to deliver the fake and then go to the free throw line.
And Mark already, still just 12:56 to go in the game. Texas Tech a season-high 15 turnovers.
Wow. They've just not been engaged like a Chris Beard team is engaged. But again, 12 minutes to go, there's plenty of time here. This is a really good basketball team that we've seen execute for 40 minutes in a game.
They can put some points up. 78.5 a game they average. Now Bruton will try and make the second of 2 free throws. That one in and out. 9-point lead that Texas Tech is trying to cut into. Mooney, that's back-to-back buckets from Matt Mooney.
You can feel the momentum changing just a little bit. The will, the battle to win for Texas Tech now is finally checking into this basketball game.
Drive, floater, no. Here come the Red Raiders.
Get to your best player, get to Culver.
Instead, it's Edwards, and he's off the mark.
Boy, Memphis even starting to run a little clock here. They want to spread them and then divide them and go.
Tough take to the hole by Kareem Bruton, and he's going to have a chance at a three-point play. And we have a timeout on the floor with 11:46 to go. Memphis Tigers playing with a heavy heart this season in honor of one of their own who they lost. We'll tell you more about that when we return. Memphis head coach Penny Hardaway and the entire Memphis Tigers coaching staff wearing that KA23 pin for a very unfortunate and sad reason. One of their own, Kareem Azab, a 22-year-old player on the Memphis Tigers team, just gave up his fight to leukemia just 2 weeks ago, 11/15, November 15th. Kareem Azab died of leukemia, and his entire team is carrying him in its thoughts and its prayers, and you could see it on the faces and certainly on the lapels of everyone on this Memphis staff.
I got a chance to see Kareem Azab play. In fact, I called his game when he played against East Carolina. A really good work ethic, a guy that could run and catch it, and just a heart of gold. And just a really great work ethic. Wanted to be a great player from Egypt here in the United States. Just very unfortunate as he found out he had cancer just after the American Conference playoffs tournament last year. And 8 months later, he's dead from leukemia. Just a sad story.
That patch will be worn by all the Memphis Tigers for every game this season. And they're playing inspired basketball today against the 20th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders. Important to tell those stories all the time, Mark, but especially this week when it's Jimmy V week at ESPN and all the money raised by donations to the V Foundation go 100% towards cancer research.
Well, and all the progress that's been made as well. Holly Rowe, for example, one of our colleagues that has done just a tremendous job of fighting the battle and spreading the word on behalf of ESPN. Our colleague Dick Vitale and the work that he does. I know you've been to his event in the summertime. And, you know, kudos to ESPN and a lot of the personalities on this network for taking this fight so personally and so seriously.
Hopefully there'll be fewer and fewer stories like Kareem Azab's for Memphis. That foul's going to go on Culver. There's coming up on 11 minutes to go, and Memphis leading throughout has an 8-point lead, and Texas Tech has yet to be able to get on that extended run that you keep expecting the Red Raiders to go on.
I think Moretti is a guy that has to exert his will a little bit. He has 0 assists here for the game, And he's a guy that has to find open people and be aggressive. He seems to be playing a little bit tentative today. Really smart player, his dad, successful coach in Italy. Got that international flair to his game. We need to see that flair now here in the last 11 minutes of the game.
2 free throws from Davenport give him 7, and the lead extended back to 10. Knocked away. Here's Corprew off the window. Tough shot from Deshaun Corprew. His second field goal of the game gives him 6.
He makes Big 12 baskets. That big body just goes right up with it strong. He makes Big 12 physical baskets.
He's a former ESPN 100 recruit, went to JUCO, and now playing for Chris Beard in Lubbock. Davenport again.
Texas Tech just getting consistently beat off the dribble. Usually technically a very sound team coming out on the ball, but today they've been beaten time and time again. Good cut. There's Moretti.
And he's tied up by the smallest player on the floor, and there's no lack of toughness in Tyler Harris.
Yeah, when Tyler Harris and Alex Lomax are on the floor together, expect something to happen. There's Harris right there. Now, he's given up multiple inches inside. He holds his ground, waits for the ball, and then devours it. He's a tough little dude, only a freshman. He plays way beyond his years.
Yeah, a less mature freshman would have fouled on that play. He went right for the ball and got it. And got his team an extra possession. Lomax absorbs the contact and knocks down the jump shot.
How much fun is Memphis basketball going to be moving forward? Holy Toledo.
Look out, America. Look out, American Conference. Good news, Texas Tech's made 4 of their last 5 field goal attempts. The bad news is they're just not getting a lot of field goal attempts to speak of.
Well, the Memphis Tigers had 11 offensive rebounds in the first half, which led to 10 more shot opportunities for Memphis than Texas Tech in the first half. It's been much better here in the second half. But you've just felt Memphis's energy from the opening tip.
Well, 3 words that Chris Beard hangs his hat on with this Texas Tech program: discipline, aggressiveness, and fun. I would say they've been aggressive. Discipline and fun have been in fewer quantities.
Yeah, they haven't had any fun today. It's been a grinder today.
And still, they're in there. They have a puncher's chance, down 11 with 9:24 to go.
Yeah, if there's one coach I could say could grind it out in a game like this, it's Chris Beard. 2-3 zone from Texas Tech again.
Nice baseline move. And Jeremiah Martin will go to the line and shoot 2.
They can't stop dribble penetration. Jeremiah Martin just blew right by him. Now, Jeremiah Martin's pretty good and has a really good first step. There was 20 points a game last year in the American. Look at that. Just blows right by. He's explosive.
comes up short on that first free throw. And you think about what this Memphis team can be defensively, with as quick as we've seen them on the defensive end with the Mighty Mites, Martin and Harris. Jeremiah Martin is the first Tigers player since Tariq Evans to average more than 2 steals per game last year.
So you start thinking in terms of UCF. Can they stop those 2 small guards from getting on the floor where they want to play? Cincinnati, known as a defensive juggernaut. Can they stop those 2 guards from getting where they want to go?
Yeah.
It's going to be really an exciting American season. Now, I think Houston does have those guards, by the way. I think Houston is the best unranked team in the country right now. Corey Davis, Amani Brooks, Brayon Brady inside, Fabian White if he gets healthy. I think Kelvin Sampson's got a much underrated basketball team down in Houston.
Blocked by Owens. Loose ball, and it's going to be a foul on Alex Lomax. Well, College Hoops continues this afternoon on ESPN as number 2 Kansas hosts Stanford at Allen Fieldhouse at 5:30 Eastern. Also streaming live on the ESPN app.
Dedrick Lawson, 17 points, 10 rebounds for Kansas. A Memphian decided to transfer. Things are working out quite well at Allen Fieldhouse for Dedrick Lawson.
Both teams in the bonus, 8:33 to go in the game. Corprew knocks down the front end of the 1-1.
I like this kid. He has given effort. He has been dialed in. He has been physical. He has been coachable.
Corprew makes them both. It's an 8-point lead for Memphis with the ball. The Tigers have led virtually throughout.
Let's see if Texas Tech can deflect a dribbler.
Davenport pinned on the backboard by Owens. His 4th block of the afternoon.
Smart play.
Defense leads to offense for the Red Raiders.
Smart play.
12 points for Corprew. 1 off his career high. And it's a timeout taken by Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers as their lead has been sliced to 6.
We've waited for Texas Tech to play Red Raider basketball. Corprew is that guy's been physical and tough and leading.
We talked a lot about Jarrett Culver. We talked a lot about Davide Moretti. but it's Deshaun Corprew trying to spark the Red Raiders to come back. This is the closest they've been all half. 8 minutes to go, Tech down 6. Rich Hollenberg, Mark Adams, the rest of the ESPN crew in Miami for the Hoop Hall Invitational, where the Memphis Tigers are looking to pull an impressive upset over the 20th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders program.
Got a mismatch. Dribbles right by him.
Inside, swallowed up by Owens, and a foul is called. Well, a quick timeout to take here with 7:28 to go. Things are getting physical in Miami with Memphis up 6.
One of the greatest of all time. With the knockout win.
Well, as we went to break, it looked like Tariq Owens might have been whistled for his 5th foul, which would have disqualified him from the game, but instead he stays in the game. The foul was called on his teammate, number 3, Deshaun Corprew, and that might be a lucky break for the Red Raiders.
Very lucky break right there, as Corprew didn't appear to make any contact at all. Just builds the fence right there. And Tariq Owens got all ball, but he did jump into Davenport. He was going up.
Davenport, it's been a struggle at the free throw line for him. 2016-17 JUCO first team All-America, misses both, but a fresh 30 for the Tigers. Martin. Shot was altered by Owens, but Davenport was Johnny on the spot. He's in double digits with 11.
All Memphis did was go with 5 out, nobody in, and spread the red jerseys, and Jeremiah Martin just made a play. It's as simple as it gets. Let's walk. Look at how extended the defense gets. And Jeremiah Martin just dribbles up slack. Nobody steps in to stop dribble penetration, and Martin just takes advantage.
So a second chance point on that end, a turnover on the other end, their 17th of the game. It's double jeopardy for Chris Beard and the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Now a chance for Memphis to go up double digits again. Nice pass.
Bruton Scramble for the loose ball. It goes out of bounds. And it's going to be Red Raiders basketball. So, Mark, the simple question is, 6:39 to go and your team down 8. What's Texas Tech going to have to do to get back in this game?
Well, offensively, I think they really do need to go to zone because they have not been able to take Jeremiah Martin, deflect him away from the basket, or from Tyler Harris or any guard from Memphis. It's been their ability to get to the rim. Offensively, I think Culver's got to step up here. And Jared Culver, 18 points a game. He's got to be a guy that makes plays against this very athletic defense of Memphis.
Here's Mooney. Left hand, missed layup.
I want my best player to at least get a touch. Memphis just spreading them out. It's like NBA. It's just ISO.
Lost the ball. Here's Culver. Red Raiders in transition. Zip pass. Culver. Two-hand slam.
Good job by Matt Mooney, finding his best player and giving him the basketball.
Matt Mooney is a gifted scorer, but Chris Beard told us he thinks maybe passing is his most underrated ability. Here's Harris. He can't answer with a 3. It's a 2-possession ball game, 59-53. And Mark Adams comes away with the basketball.
I've always had great hands, Rich.
You were ready for that.
Yeah, I was. Didn't surprise me.
So the foul in the backcourt puts Kyler Edwards on the line. Edwards got the first.
Boy, Chris Beard really high on Kyler Edwards. Huge upside for this freshman for Texas Tech. Big free throws, showed something right there.
And this is as close as Texas Tech has been since early in the first half. 59-55, 5:40 to go.
Texas Tech going to the zone now. Why? Take away penetration routes from Memphis. Try to take away what Memphis has done with their guards the entire game.
Martin tried to force a pass and turned it over. Culver. Tech looking to make it a 1-possession ball game.
And Culver just pushes off and gets wide open for the 3.
Lomax rebounds, the ball goes out of bounds, and it's going to be Texas Tech basketball. Heads-up play by the freshman Kyler Edwards. And those are the kind of plays that Memphis has been making all
exactly
afternoon.
right. You read my mind. These are the plays Memphis once upon a time was making, and now all of a sudden, Kyler Edwards comes from behind and makes plays, stays with it. Culver, great cut.
Culver inside. 2-point ball game, 59-57.
There's a V cut for you.
Lomax. Loose ball, Culver comes away with it. Edwards gives it to Owens. Owens has a chance to give Texas Tech the lead. Tariq Owens, trailing the play in transition, gets the bucket and the bump.
There's been an energy transfusion that's happened over the last 10 minutes for Texas Tech. And now the Red Raiders are taking Memphis right to the rim, punishing them inside.
We got ourselves a tie ball game with 4:35 to go, and that is Texas Tech's first lead since they led 3-2 at the start of this game.
The switch to the zone has made a difference for Texas Tech over the last couple of minutes.
A 9-0 run for the Red Raiders has put them on top by 1 as Penny Hardaway calls a timeout. Memphis has 1 remaining. We've got a barn burner here in game 2 of the Hoop Hall Invitational from Miami.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Air Force Reserve. Explore your opportunities. Go to afreserve.com. And City, welcome what's next.
Let's take our look at Hall of Fame shining moment, brought to you by Zales. Texas Tech led 3-2, then trailed the entire game until this play, when Kyler Edwards gave it up to Tariq Owens and the N1.
The best part about that play, getting on the floor for the loose ball and then running out. Tariq Owens with the finish.
And now we'll see how Memphis responds to the gut punch they just got. Blocked by Owens. And a foul on Memphis. We're going the other way. Tariq Owens establishing himself at both ends of the floor.
Memphis over the last 3 minutes, 0 field goals and 4 turnovers. How this game has changed on the defensive intensity and execution of Texas Tech.
And now the Texas Tech Red Raiders will be shooting 2 free throws on every subsequent Memphis foul. Owens makes him pay with the first. This marks the first 2-point lead for the Red Raiders this afternoon.
Well, no question that Chris Beard challenged his team to up the energy level, and they have done it here in the second half, and we expected it.
A 9-point lead at halftime has evaporated for the Memphis Tigers. An 11-0 Texas Tech run has put them up by 3, 62-59, with 4:04 to go.
Well, this zone defense has been effective for Texas Tech. Seems to rock Memphis a little bit back on the heels. Haven't been as aggressive offensively as they were earlier against the man-to-man.
Haven't heard from Harris in a while. He gets fouled on the jumper and will go to the line. 13 first half points for Tyler Harris. And now he'll have his chance to get his first points of the second half. And that's the 5th foul on Davide Moretti, so he's done for the afternoon.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Memphis out of the made free throw here go a little bit more high risk, high reward defense in the full court situation. With Moretti leaving the game a ball handler, bringing in Matt Mooney, I'd go right at him.
Tyler Harris at the line shooting 2, an 86% free throw shooter. Got the first. 2017 Gatorade Tennessee Player of the Year coming out of high school.
He had 22 points in that overtime win against Yale. Big baskets.
15 today.
Here's the full court pressure.
Now Mooney will be the main ball handler along with Brandon Francis for Texas Tech. And a foul on the floor on Thornton. That'll send Jared Culver to the line for 2. That's 4 on Thornton.
You know, Rich, sometimes good teams just find a way to kind of hang around. It never got away from Texas Tech. A 12-point lead, 10-point lead for Memphis, but they just kind of hung around, and now in position to win this thing.
It's easy to forget that last year, Jared Culver, who has 17 today, averaged 11 points a game last year as a freshman for a team that went to the Elite Eight. That's the same number of points that Zaire Smith averaged, and he was an NBA draft pick.
And remember, this team did go to the Elite Eight, and this team did not panic. As all heck was breaking loose around him and Chris Beard was going crazy, this team continued to compete and battle.
Martin went up strong and got swallowed up by Tariq Owens. What a presence Tariq Owens has been on the defensive end.
Jeremiah Martin took that thing hard to the rim.
Davenport got it, and 1. Even Davenport's come to play in the second half. He has 13, 10 of them coming in the second.
I like about that, Davenport didn't back down. Even after the block shot by Tariq Owens, he just went right back up with confidence.
Now they just need him to hit a free throw.
Yeah, free throw, just every once in a while.
Owens has a double-double, 11 points, 10 rebounds, and a bunch of blocks as well. Francis for 3. His second 3-ball of the second half extends the Texas Tech lead to 4. Under 3 minutes to go.
Well, that Elite Eight experience is showing here in the late game situations.
Davenport, blocked again. They call it a jump ball. And it's going to be possession arrow to the Red Raiders. 7 blocks now for Tariq Owens, who's only a couple blocks shy of a triple-double today, Mark.
Boy, tremendous timing and separation. What Tariq Owens does, he stays away from the ball until it's presented to him. He doesn't body up, he doesn't step to it, he just waits for it and then goes and gets it. Best shot blockers I've seen are the ones that have patience to wait for the ball.
11 points, 11 boards, 7 blocks for Tariq Owens.
Texas Tech has turned it up, and Tariq Owens has done it defensively for them.
Two 2.5 minutes left. Nice look to Owens. Great pass by Jared Culver to Tariq Owens. Corner 3 off the mark. Loose ball, Culver comes away with it. Edwards, got it.
Wow.
Another assist from Culver. And everything going Texas Tech's way now.
Boy, the body language of the two teams is stark. We see the energy from Texas Tech and Memphis walking back to the bench right now.
Well, our player of the game, how about Tariq Owens? Brought to you by the Air Force Reserve. He has himself a double-double with 13 points and 11 rebounds and a couple more blocks, Mark, and he's gonna have a triple-double.
Well, has such tremendous timing defensively. He never bodies up. He waits for the basketball and then goes and gets it. Look at him go up there and deny Jeremiah Martin, who is going right to the rim. He never gets outside of his cylinder. He goes straight up and blocks shots.
And like a cat with 9 lives, remember there was a foul called under the basket It went on his teammate, Deshaun Corprew, and if it was called on Tariq Owens, it would have been his 5th. He stayed in the game. Chris Beard stayed with him on the floor with those 4 fouls, and he is our Armed Forces Reserve player of the game. Well, SportsCenter tonight with Kenny Mayne and Michael Eaves after the Mountain West Championship game. They'll have all the highlights, post-game coverage, and reaction from Championship Saturday. Which team played their way into the college football playoff, and also today's best from the gridiron. But we are talking college hoops here in Miami, the second of 4 Hoop Hall Invitational games from American Airlines Arena. We had a terrific game in game 1. Shamori Pons led the way with 37 points as St. John's held off Georgia Tech. And right now, Texas Tech, which trailed most of this game to Memphis, is up 71-63 with under 2 to go.
Well, in this zone, having Tariq Owens in the middle of it has really helped out Texas Tech. It's protected him, and it's allowed him to do what he does best, intimidate shots. Whoa.
5 on the shot clock for Memphis. And now the shot clock at 4 with $1:31 to go.
Jeremiah Martin's got to want the ball here.
Lomax will trigger the inbounds for Memphis. They lob it into Davenport. 2 to shoot. Martin got it off, but it's a shot clock violation.
If the defense retrieves the ball, why don't we just play on a block shot?
Instead, it's a side out of bounds for the Red Raiders, who have possession and an 8-point lead.
Gotta look to trap. It's a walk, close.
And Matt Mooney got away with one as they call the foul on Tyler Harris. And Chris Beard is exhorting Jared Culver and company to be strong with the basketball.
He coached at the small college level, Division III, Division II. He coached in the ABA, a professional league that nobody watched. He coached at Little Rock, led them to the Sun Belt Championship, and ultimately a win in the NCAA tournament over Purdue. And now the head man at Texas Tech led the Raiders to the Elite 8 last season.
And you know what? With all the success he's had at getting production out of transfers, he feels like his program deals with one-year players better than any program in America, and it's in large part due to his experience at those small colleges.
Especially at the junior college level, where that's what you get. You get them for a year or two, and he was a successful junior college coach as well.
Now there's 1 minute to go. 7-point lead, 72-65. Texas Tech gets fouled again. Mooney will go to the line as the Red Raiders are 55 seconds away from improving to 7-0 on the season and maintaining their standing as one of the 16 remaining unbeatens in Division I basketball. In their previous 6 games, they've won by an average of 27.5 points, Mark. It's not going to be nearly that big of a margin today. They had to fight, scrap, and claw for every bucket they got against Memphis.
Well, this is what they needed to get better. And there's going to be plenty of opportunity to look at the video of this game and be constructively critical of your team if you're Chris Beard. That's a good thing at this time of the year. But you go away with a win, Rich. Oftentimes, you learn lessons the hard way with the loss. This team's going to learn a lesson the good way with potentially a win if they can hold on here.
Tyler Harris with the 2, and they immediately foul in the backcourt, sending Jared Culver back to the line. Well, I'm sitting next to a Mark Adams, and believe it or not, so is Chris Beard. That's our Mark Adams on the left, and that's Red Raider Mark Adams on the right, the longtime assistant coach. And oddly enough, you guys do have a case of mistaken identity from back in the day.
1996, the Final Four in New York City. I keep getting these calls for Mark Adams. Well, it turned out I'm getting his calls. So I reached out to him. I said, hey, here's your list of people that need to talk to you. And he goes, well, here's your list.
Memphis had a 13-point lead at the 16-minute mark of the second half. Since then, it's been all Red Raiders. And now on a leak out, Red Raiders have numbers. Here's Edwards at the other end.
Well, this is a heck of an effort in the second half by Texas Tech. A winning culture of a winning program that exceeded all expectations a year ago under a coach that seems to do that on a regular basis. And they came out in the second half, especially the last 10 minutes, and exerted their will on this budding, successful program at Memphis, but they're just not there yet. They weren't able to finish it off.
Chris Beard, the Big 12 co-coach of the year last year. He lost 5 seniors off that Elite 18, but he still feels like he has a veteran club because he has 4 final year players, a couple of transfers, a couple of grad transfers in Tariq Owens and Matt Mooney, and we've seen the kind of impact that Tariq Owens can have on a game today. He has 13 points and 11 rebounds to go along with 7 blocks.
And he's begged, borrowed, and stole his coaching ideas from guys like Tom Penders, Danny Casper, now the head coach of Texas State, Bob Knight.
Picked off by Mooney. And time is going to run out on Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers, but there were some good signs from this young Memphis program and a show of toughness from Texas Tech, who trailed the large majority of this game, but ends up coming back in a big way in the closing minutes to finish off with a 78-67 win and remain unbeaten on the season, 7-0. The Air Force Reserve Hoop Ball Miami Invitational continues on ESPN2 as Vanderbilt takes on NC State. For Mark Adams, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Thanks for watching. Now